Hi, Lucia here from the Which Money podcast, alongside our weekly episodes where we give you all the best advice on how to make the most of your money. We've launched Money Shorts. Each fortnight we bring you a taster of the Which Money magazine with hand-selected reviews, investigations and features by our award-winning writers brought to life on the podcast. That means you can get a taste of what the Which Money magazine has to offer without paying a penny. So join us every Monday for a brand new episode of Money Shorts, as well as every Friday for your regular episode of the Which Money podcast. Just search for Which Money wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the Which Short podcast. I'm James Rowe. This is the podcast that brings you the very best from Which with a weekly taster of some of the brilliant journalism you can expect from your suite of magazines. This week we're looking at palm oil, telling you what it actually is, analysing why it has such a bad reputation, and giving you tips on how to make more sustainable shopping choices. In the June edition of the Which magazine, Olivia Howes did an investigation into the palm oil industry to find out which brands are using it and which ones are taking the issue of its use seriously. Here's her piece read by the host of the Which Get Answers podcast, Harry Kind.
Even by 9 a.m, you've probably already used it a dozen times, although you might not realise its omnipresence in your home. Palm oil is hidden everywhere. Breakfast cereal, bread, buttery spreads, shower gel, toothpaste, moisturiser, makeup, dishwasher tablets and laundry detergent, to name but a few. You might remember a 2018 television advert by Greenpeace starring an animated baby orangutan explaining to a child how palm oil was destroying its home. Partly as a result of the ad's viral success, we now associate palm oil with the razing of rainforests, environmental destruction and loss of wildlife. But, like many sustainability problems, the issue is more complex than it first seems. Simply not buying products containing palm oil isn't as easy as you think, and it might not be the right way forward in any case. So, what is palm oil? Palm oil is extracted from the fruit of the oil palm tree, a species native to Africa but now grown extensively in Malaysia and Indonesia. In these places, it's used as a cooking oil, but it has all sorts of other uses in processed products. It keeps spreads spreadable, fried products crispy, biscuits crunchy, and forms the base for thousands of beauty and household cleaning products. It's in close to 50% of these items in UK supermarkets. It's also found in the food we feed livestock. Demand is constantly increasing. It's estimated that global use could increase by 4 to 6 times from 2020 to 2050. Oil palm is an efficient crop and produces fruit almost all year round. Such high yields mean it can be described as land-sparing. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, the WWF, palm oil accounts for 40% of the world's vegetable oil demand, but its farming uses just 8.6% of the land used to produce all vegetable oil. You need 4 times more land to produce 1 tonne of rapeseed or sunflower oil than 1 tonne of palm oil, and over 10 times more land to produce 1 tonne of coconut oil. But it can only be grown in certain climates, so these promising figures obscure the whole picture. The land that is used for oil palm plantations is ecologically incredibly valuable. Vital, richly biodiverse environments such as rainforests are lost to make way. Some oil palm has been grown on drained peatlands, but doing so causes massive CO2 leakage. Around 5% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from CO2 released from peat soils. So, what's the best way forward? Avoiding it is difficult, and simply swapping it for less efficiently grown oils has its own set of drawbacks. But some brands are doing more than others to address the issue responsibly. It's easier to look out for palm oil in food, as it must be listed as an ingredient. It's high in saturated fat and found in processed foods such as pizza, biscuits, ice cream, pastries, spreads, and even in some sliced bread. Lowering your consumption by cutting back on these types of food is good for your health as well. If you eat meat and dairy, you might still be consuming it indirectly, although animal feed makes up a small percentage of palm oil consumption overall. The real challenge comes when trying to dodge palm oil in everyday items such as cleaning products and toiletries. Palm-based oleochemicals are used to make detergents and surfactants, which are used in laundry detergents and cleansing lotions. These go by a dizzying array of names, more than 200 in fact. The best way to identify most palm oil derivatives is to look for the following 4 roots that may form part of ingredient names. PAL, that's P-A-L, steer, S-T-E-A-R, laur, L-A-U-R, and gliss, G-L-Y-C. They don't always signal palm oil. Other oils, such as coconut, might have been used. But without checking with the manufacturer, it's impossible to know for sure. If you're very determined, Ethical Consumer is a good source for palm oil-free brands. Another, and perhaps more realistic approach, is to choose sustainable palm oil. This is the route that the WWF and others support, believing that boycotting palm oil is not the answer and seriously risks worsening the problem. The Round Table on Sustainable Palm Oil, the RSPO, was set up in 2004 by stakeholders including the WWF and Unilever. Today, around 20% of the world's palm oil is RSPO certified. The RSPO has received its fair share of criticism from organisations such as Greenpeace over the years though. Companies can be RSPO members and only certify a small proportion of their supply chain. Some environmental campaigners say that standards aren't high enough and members aren't adequately audited. But given how inextricably bound up in our lives palm oil is, the WWF and others maintain that certification is an important part of improving palm oil sustainability, and the RSPO should be supported. Best practice is for RSPO certification to be a first step. Companies should have their own clear policies and commitments to ensure sustainable supply chains in addition to using RSPO certified oil. Palm oil and its derivatives can be sourced through several different supply chain models. RSPO credits are a type of offsetting system that means buyers contribute financially to sustainable palm, even if the palm oil they themselves use isn't certified. Mass balance, a common system in certification, allows for mixing of certified and non-certified palm oil. It means that a percentage of the oil that a brand buys will have been sustainably sourced, but doesn't guarantee that the product in your hand contains it. There are also independent smallholder credits, which help to incentivize smaller farms to produce palm oil sustainably. The highest and most robust levels of supply chain certification are identity preserved, from a single source, and segregated. The certified oil is kept separate from the ordinary palm oil throughout the supply chain. It's more challenging for toiletry and cosmetic brands, which are reliant on the companies that provide raw materials for oleochemicals, and these supply chains can be complex. Overall, these sectors use less palm oil than the food industry, which could be why they've had less focus. But big manufacturers can and should have a significant influence on improving the amount of certified and segregated oil in supply chains by demanding it from processors. So what should you look for then? Even certified products may not always display the RSPO logo. Some brands say it isn't well known enough to customers, or their product packaging is already too crowded. But there's also a sense that they aren't keen to draw attention to the use of an ingredient with such a poor reputation. The main UK supermarkets are generally doing pretty well with their own brand products. All have 99 to 100% of their supply chain RSPO certified using mass balance as a minimum, according to the latest reports which are available on the RSPO's website. Most use a high percentage of segregated palm oil too. Co-op and Marks & Spencer use more than 90% segregated oil. And Lidl, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, Tesco and Waitrose all use more than 70% segregated oil. To find out about a product on the go, the Palm Oil Scan app by the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums is a useful tool. You can scan a product's barcode and it returns a rating of excellent, good, poor, or no commitment.
Harry Kind was reading that piece by Olivia Howes, originally published in Which Magazine's June edition. Want to subscribe and get the magazine delivered direct to your door? I'll pop a link in the description of today's show. If you want more than your weekly dose of Which Shorts, then do also check out Money Short, which you can find on the Which Money podcast feed. Every fortnight we'll be handpicking an article that we think you'll love that was originally published in the Which Money magazine and bringing it to you in audio form for free. That's in addition to your regular weekly episodes of the Which Money podcast and your weekly episodes of Which Short, which you can find right here. Remember, you can find more articles you'll find useful every day on everything from money and technology to home and garden advice by signing up to one of our many free email newsletters at which.co.uk/newsletters. We'll be back next week for another episode of Which Shorts. Thanks for listening. Which Short was produced and edited by me, James Rowe, while the exec producer was Grace Farrell.
A power of attorney gives you the peace of mind of knowing you've protected yourself and those you love by assigning someone you trust to make key decisions for you when you can't. We don't know if or when that day will come, so the sooner we do it, the better. Completing this important legal document incorrectly can lead to costly delays, and, in worst case scenarios, an uncorrected error can invalidate your power of attorney. At Which, we'll help you get it right. Our specialist review service puts your power of attorney in the best place to be approved first time, and to work when you need it to. Our specialists will go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure it's error-free and legally compliant. Buy today or before the 30th of June to save 30%. And to do that, just head to whichwills.which.co.uk/POA offer. That's whichwills.which.co.uk/POA offer.